Hey, Paulie. Welcome to our Facebook Live, everyone. How's it going, Paulie?
Yes, doing well. Thanks, Dan. Doing very well. Feeling well and truly burpeed to the brim. And how are you feeling? How are those lats?
Yeah, definitely feeling it today. Hey, Paulie. Welcome to our Facebook Live, everyone. How's
Got
it
a little,
going, Paulie?
got a bit
Yes,
of an
doing well.
extra.
Thanks, Dan. Doing very well. Feeling. Oh, that was fun.
We good?
So yeah, the challenge of June was awesome, and yesterday was a perfect failed attempt at hitting the 30, but it was great fun. My arms were gassed out. Did a training session in the morning thinking I could get away with it, and really struggled through those last 10. But it was just good
Goodness.
to tick them off, and that was, I guess, the power of the challenge is just to continue showing up and just getting through the reps one day at a time, and just loved it. And yeah, it was awesome. Really felt like the benefit in my body doing this challenge, and want to continue it on now because it's just awesome. It was awesome. What about you? How was it for you?
I had a great time. I probably had a little bit of a less challenging habit to deliver on than you, but I loved it because there are a few things I noticed when I was completing the habit, especially towards the upper echelon of the repetitions, and that was I could either make a decision, and I've always felt this with like a simple movement like burpees. You can either make a decision in your mind to flick a switch and say, I'm just going to pump these burpees out quickly. And just, it really is just like a simple, basic movement that you can just pound out, or you can create a story in your head and say, oh my God, I've got 25 of these things left. And that can just add so much weight to each burpee. And I noticed the days where I was doing the former, and I noticed the days when I was doing the latter on those burpee challenges. And when I made that decision to flick the switch and just go, I'm just pumping them out like the Energizer Bunny. And that's what I do. I visualize the Energizer Bunny and me. For those of you who don't live in Australia, the Energizer Bunny is this little mascot for a battery ad. Maybe you have in the States, I'm not sure. And he just pumps and pumps and pumps. So yeah, a little bit of visualization assisted with my experience as well.
Yeah, awesome. It was good to see you each day doing it. I got to say, I love the facial hair, especially the final day moustache. I'm championing for that to come back.
Well, it was good. It was yeah, towards the end, it was, it's July #1 now. So I realized it was either the mustache goes or the wife goes. And I think the mustache lost this battle.
Awesome. And so, any specific takeaways from the challenge and things that you can see that you'll take with you for just moving ahead?
Yeah, there's a few things that came up for me, and one was, as I mentioned before, that story that we tell ourselves in our heads, that either before, during, or after a habit that is being created that may appear to be hard work at the time, you're never going to do something that is a challenge. I've found in the last 30 days, I never sat back after doing something that I knew that was going to contribute to my life and did it, and then sat back and gone, oh, I wish I didn't do that. Yeah, like it was always going to be a positive experience, regardless of whether I succeeded in it or not. Likewise, on the days, because there were 2 days that I failed to turn up, and I think it's equally as important to be forgiving of yourself and forgiving of myself when I didn't turn up, because that can also feed onto itself and be like a self-fulfilling prophecy for future days as well. And that can just, you can create a story in your head about that being a failure right off the day, right off the week, right off the month, and all of a sudden, it's just continuing on and on and on.
Yeah, it's the habit of not doing something as well as the habit of doing something. It works both ways.
Exactly right. You're either being productive or you're being unproductive, and you're never standing still. It's constant movement, and that's something I definitely learnt within that process. I personally really enjoyed the process of building up in an unintimidating fashion, and being able to do so one day at a time, and getting to the time where I had 30 burpees at the end of the month. And I also really enjoyed, as I was building up confidence and momentum within this process, I was able to couple and engage in some more healthy habit formations, uh, like breathing and journal writing and running as well, which I was able to coincide this with. So what I feel is the very active participating in a habit was like watering a garden. And you know, you can water a garden in the burpee garden bed, or you can choose to use that fertile soil to spread the seeds elsewhere as well. And that's kind of what I did. I was like, whilst I'm out in the garden, I might as well water this breathing bed and the running bed. And what's amazing is whilst I got into the habit of doing burpee 1 through to 30, I also got into the habit of just doing something out of my comfort zone. So I continued to spread myself and challenge myself. And I think that's a great opportunity for everyone to be able to do that.
And did you notice anything in your body just from the progression up to 30? Any, strength that you just didn't have before? Anything you unlocked?
Well, I think other than the fact that I was doing a lot of burpees, like a reasonable amount of burpees every day, especially towards the end of the month, the fact that it acted as an action to open a gate to other endurance challenges. And that's like the intention I set for myself at the beginning of the month. It was like, I wanted to step into becoming more of an endurance athlete. And so I opened that gate with burpees, and then I lent myself more to running, and I lent myself to other pursuits that would allow myself, even my breathing challenge allowed me to become more conscious of my breath, which in turn led to a really positive experience when I was running and burping and doing all that kind of stuff. So to answer your question, it opened up that endurance gate. So all of those things coupled together definitely just made me like a more capable endurance athlete.
Yeah, amazing. Awesome.
What about you with your pull-ups? Was there anything else that you got out of this, either mentally or physically?
Yeah, I think the most valuable part of it was actually putting that piece of paper that stayed outside next to the chin-up bar and just ticking off every day what I was doing. It was just that kind of accountability mirror that was always there looking at me, just saying, okay, this is where you're at today. This is what needs to be achieved. And it was just ticking it off one day at a time, one rep at a time. And it was just always there. And I really appreciated it because I hadn't done something like that so consistently. And it just was always reflecting back to me what was the plan for the day. And I feel like that can be brought into so many parts of my life, physically, mentally, professionally, any kind of endeavor. I think it's like having that plan available, and looking back at me is a really great way to just tick things off and just see the accomplishments that are being made each day. And that kind of bodes really well that we're moving into the July challenge of journaling, and looking forward to just doing that on a daily basis starting today. And it'd be really amazing to see other people join us for this monthly challenge. Can also go back to all the old challenges that we've done too. But it's amazing that we can kind of participate in these challenges together and support each other and hear anyone else's insights and takeaways. I'm loving it, and I feel like this is a great opportunity just to test myself too. So it's nice to feel the support of the tribe in doing it all together.
Yeah, spot on. And I love what you mentioned about, having that piece of paper there for you to be able to mark off and hold yourself accountable. I mentioned in the course or the process of doing this that being able to signify completing that day's work or being able to complete that habit formation for the day is a really important part of the journey, by celebrating it and in a way like marking that off. It's like a celebration. You and I both have a very, very dear friend who I worked with for many years, he's an incredible heart, big heart. And he worked with me for many years. And when he trained clients, he would always write their things on the board and he'd make them whenever they completed a series of burpees or a series of squats or whatever it might be. He'd give them the marker and he'd make them tick it off and they'd celebrate in the glory of doing 10 squats. And there's something pretty powerful that with that, like not to, isolated, it sounds ridiculous, but it's actually really a really powerful act to be able to do it and move on to the next. So I like that. I'm going to try and add that to my, because you can add it to every aspect of life. And the journaling is something that, is going to be an interesting process because, you can either choose to do it on a handwritten pad or on a computer. I'm actually doing it on my Evernote, which is an online process. And the reason I'm doing that is because it's just, to me, it's just going to be easier to have it there, to have my template all there in place, and I'm just going to fill it out as I go along. But whatever works for anybody is great. And I encourage anybody to jump on and join us in this July challenge because I know from experience, it adds so much to my life when I'm doing it on a daily basis. It just gives that positive filter to everything you do moving on. So yeah, it's a wonderful thing to be able to embrace if that's something you guys are into.
Yeah, I love it. I'm looking forward to it as well. And I think I'm going to challenge myself by writing in an actual journal because I have the most atrocious handwriting. So I'm really going to take my time with it, which is also just a great practice, not to rush it, but just take my time so it's almost legible and I can reread what I actually write, which will be a challenge in itself. So the challenge for me is actually writing legibly enough to be able to read it too.
I love it. That's great. That's fantastic.
All right, thanks, Ollie. Anything else, mate?
Nah, that's perfect. Thank you, Dan. And just looking forward to a recap in another month's time. But we'll be seeing you guys next Wednesday, Melbourne time, for another Facebook Live on another topic from, questions that you guys have been fielding.
Awesome. All right, guys. Take care. See you soon.